Oh boy, we got a big old mixed bag from A24 here. It's time we talk about the death of a unicorn and just the pros and the cons because this movie has a lot of pros and this movie has a lot of cons. Let's just get into it. Yes, Death of the Unicorn is based on a novel and it's been delivered to us by A24. Has a pretty decent cast overall, but this movie is a huge mixed bag for me in different ways. On one hand, what I will say is the third and the second half of this movie, the third act and the second half of this movie, do deliver, I think, kind of a horror thriller element that people were looking forward to with this movie. And I do think that the writing works better for the characters that you have for Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega in those parts. It feels more natural, it feels well put together, and you get a solid ending to the movie that you can enjoy. The bad part about this movie is the generic nature that so many of the script and the characters were written for the first half of the movie. And I'm not going to go too much into detail spoiling wise. Just know, though, that the movie, I think, is very generically written. And for a movie that I think people, including family members, myself, who I talked to, were like, this movie seems like it could be weird. This movie really wasn't that weird. What you're getting here is a commentary on pharmaceutical sales companies and the extortion of individuals and things for profit in different parts. And that's kind of shown through this main very rich family that Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega are going to meet, so Paul Rudd can close the deal and become a partner or a lawyer with them. The downside of this is it kind of made Paul Rudd's character and Jenna Ortega's character just very bland characters that didn't mesh well together. Jenna Ortega played the daughter of a parent who is not the one she's connected with the most. The parent she connected with the most passed away, and she just plays your your nobody listens to me alternative teenager daughter that eventually is always right. Something similar that you kind of sometimes see with a lot of her roles recently, like Beetlejuice. You see it a little bit in The Miller's Girl. You see it in Wednesday. This feels like a very typecast role for Jenna Ortega, and I don't think it wasn't until the second half of the movie, once it got past kind of the stereotypical trope of I'm trying to tell all you guys about something, but nobody wants to listen to me because I'm the daughter and nobody wants to listen to the younger teenager daughter. Again, her acting is perfectly adequate and great throughout parts of the movie. It's just a very bland, boring role. And you mixed in Paul Rudd, who was a very likable person and just a likable individual, with the first half of this movie just being the worst father of the year. And it just didn't mesh well, and Ortega and Rudd's characters just were frustrating to watch, and the very obtuse, obvious, on-the-nail commentary about the pharmaceutical companies did generate a lot of laughs, did have its moments of satire that worked well. It was just hammered home about 20 times too hard to get the enjoyment in the first half of this movie as they're trying to discover what's this mysterious unicorn is giving them in the world. What I can say is as the movie turns more into its second and third act and the evil pharmaceutical company people are getting their comeuppance, this movie finds its layers more, and Paul Rudd as an actor and Jenna Ortega as an actress are able to communicate and have that chemistry I wish they had throughout this movie. I don't think this movie needed to have some type of redemption arc for the dad character for Paul Rudd and have him be kind of this unlikable character through most of the movie. I think if Ortega and Rudd's character came in as a loving father-daughter who were trying to game the system, and they're working together and they're kind of figuring out this outside of the world thing that happened with them, and they're both, aren't able to escape this before all the terrible things happen, this movie would have worked a million times better. It would have been a great performance duo for Ortega and Paul Rudd, and I think would have been able to do the commentary perfectly fine and give a little bit more interesting character arcs than the bland, generic ones we got from the daughter and the father character throughout this whole entire movie. Other things I will say is that the unicorns, I like them in the movie. I think they look decently well. And the kills that you have throughout the different parts of the movie, as you've seen in the trailer, I think they live up to expectations. And there's just a lot I think I'd like about this movie. I think Will Poulter in the movie, excellent job. He was the one person of the son of the pharmaceutical sales parents, their company, who played his role perfectly well. I loved him from beginning to end. But everybody else, I think, just was very generic. And it wasn't until the second half of the movie, and really in the third act, that even Ortega and Rudd were able to deliver, I think, outstanding performances. That I wish we would have gotten that family connection, that chemistry between them from the beginning to the end of the movie instead of what we got. What this does leave me, though, in grading, though, is a very, very low gold for Death of the Unicorn. I think there's enough here if you were an Ortega fan, if you're into slasher-type movies, if you're into some commentary movies and you want to be entertained at the movie theaters this weekend. I think Death of the Unicorn will be able to deliver that for you. Had some great laughs, had some great scare moments, definitely made me get my blood boiling in some different parts in terms of, anxiety and thrillerness. But it doesn't go over the top and make this a must-watch. And I think that weird kind of classic movie we're hoping it's going to be based off the trailers and knowing it's coming from A24. So a little disappointment, but also not a bad movie to watch in theaters. Just not what I think people were hoping for. And in some ways, just way too generic and way too basic of a plot that didn't allow itself to flesh into something I think better overall. Have you seen Death of the Unicorn? Do you know the novel? Tell me about my thoughts with it down below. I can't wait to see what other people's response is. And yeah, we're in a little bit of a rush for a stretch right now in movie theaters. Snow White wasn't that great. I enjoyed Mickey 17, but it kind of falls in the same bag here of you could be entertained but nothing outstanding. Same thing kind of with Novocaine. I really did enjoy Black Bag, but nothing's really standing out. Captain America Brave New World wasn't that great. So we're kind of in a lull point post-Oscar season. And we'll see if next week the Minecraft movie will have us come out. Maybe one of the other movies that come out this week and I'll give a review for with YouTube Shorts. We'll do it, but this is a pretty big rut, and we'll see how we get out of this. But if you like these type of reviews, like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you for the next movie review here on the channel, or check out my Skyrim playthrough series that I started here, The Echoes of Ariel. We got the first 2 episodes live on the channel. Episode 3 will be coming on Sunday, and then we'll be getting more episodes throughout as we move along. I'm really enjoying playing this game and giving a more narrative feel to it, but I'll see you all somewhere else. I have a Survivor rant coming. Just didn't feel like I could put it out this week, so expect that next week. And yeah, we're getting back into the groove of the channel.